Hey guys, let's tune in. This is the last lesson of behaviors. And of course, we've touched on this before because I like to talk. Can you believe I haven't been doing this my whole life? Okay, so again, when I first started healing and doing this work of figuring out what was wrong, I used behaviors. I used what stimulated me, what's triggering me, what makes me angry, what makes me respond in a way that I don't like, right? And the point is that sometimes we can't always figure out what's happening internally, but there are cues externally. And by noticing your behaviors, what you say yes to and no to, what takes you out of character, what makes you have feelings that you don't like, helps you to understand, what am I thinking? What am I feeling in relation to this response? And then hopefully you'll get to the point of figuring out what is hidden beneath the surface of all of this. I'm just going to read what I have here. When you understand what you respond to, understand the emotions and the thoughts behind it. You must understand. We talked about this. Those who observe your behaviors more than you do can control your thoughts and emotions. If things trigger my emotions and my thoughts, and someone understands what triggers your emotions and thoughts, they are now more in control than you are. So, you need to do this inner work. But in the same way, as you do this work and you figure out it for yourself, which is the main point, you are also going to be able to notice other people's behavior, what they respond to, their thoughts and their emotions. We all choose to display certain thoughts through our words, certain emotions through our tone, our looks, our facial expression, even our expression of what we wear. I don't know, that came out of nowhere, maybe. But also our body language, right? Remember when I was talking about like how, I guess, serial killers and those people, they don't display many body languages because it's contradicting and will give away their real intentions. So, again, because I've done a lot of this work on myself, which was not easy, and I'm still doing it, as you start to observe other people's behavior, you can also see what they are feeling based off of what they're displaying. What are they talking to you about? What are their responses? And again, this work is for ourselves, but in the same way you need to learn for yourself so that other people aren't manipulating you, you need to learn how to not manipulate other people. Because, again, you're going to start to pick up on the patterns of yourself. And even when you do the work on yourself, there's usually other characters involved in the story. So you start to essentially do the work on them too. Being like, well, they responded like this, it's probably attached to this in response to this, and because they haven't dealt with this, and learning to back up and not manipulate. And don't get me wrong, if your intention isn't to hurt people, it's not hard. But sometimes we want to save people and we want to give them nuggets of wisdom that they're not ready for because they haven't done the work. And you have, and you know what's wrong, but you can't force somebody to see what you see. Even if you're right, and sometimes you might not be right? We don't want to make assumptions here. But the point is that as we all become aware We need to be graceful with the people that aren't aware, and not hurt people. And sometimes, I've come across people that I may have accidentally triggered and woken up just by being me. And it's like, I know what I triggered within them because I started a healing app based off triggers, right? So it's like, oh, I didn't mean to do that. And like sometimes even just me living in my own truth, right? When you're learning to go with a new belief and all of a sudden you stop hanging out with those people, like I know what you're feeling because I created the feeling. But we're never trying to evoke emotions within people out of malice, out of control. It is truly out of our own self-preservation and integration of our own lessons. Because until after you do this work, you'll realize what your subconscious brain was hiding from you, right? What was unprocessed. But again, this is not hidden from everybody, especially the people that have done the work or just studies dark psychology enough to be able to control people like a weirdo. So you want to be aware, but as you become aware, be careful to not hurt other people. But it's very important to not allow other people to know more about you than you know about you. Because it may be scary to heal and to feel these emotions, but it's scarier to know that you're being manipulated. So, let's worry about ourselves. And also, I'll just touch on this for a second. Maybe eventually I'll talk about it, but right, the entire reason why we are able to even track behaviors to thoughts and emotions is because most of us are living out of our ego. An ego is a mask. It's a character that we play. And there's only so many characters we can play. Right? There's only so many movies. How many times have you watched a movie and it's like, oh, they're going to end up together, or that's the killer. I don't watch scary movies, right? I control my media. But the point is that once you start to identify your own patterns, again, you recognize other people's patterns. And most people, because they're living off of patterns, once you figure out the script, you can predict. Hence, even prediction as a tool. It's just predicting the script because everybody's trying to be the same. But you truly become unpredictable when you're authentic. Our next season is going to be about energy. Yes, I'm going to get into some spiritual concepts, but I'm also very interested in teaching about empaths versus narcissists. And if there's other concepts, again, that you want me to touch on, maybe I will, maybe I won't. Be at your own frequency by being authentic. Yeah? Okay. See you sometime soon.